was in the archives at the Cowcat Show, season 9 now, and I found in the archives with K.O. Dan the original Milpitas Monster program from the anniversary special that I went to as a young teenager. Isn't that awesome? This is the actual program from the very first reshowing of the movie, and it has the back piece with the Sarah Twin. That's awesome. So there you go, Milpitas Monster. This is the actual original program. Here's the original flyer, and here is the original date sheet. And that was it was only a few dollars to attend. That's funny. But there it is. Milpitas Monster. So there's a historical archive thing. Anyway, so yes. So I saw Hidden Figures earlier today. I'm going to get that light over there. I'm going to flip that on. So yeah. There were some there's one or two trolls out there complaining that these videos don't actually show footage from the movie, and that partly is because of copyright bots that are always after my channels. And if I show so much as a clip that's 10 seconds long from something, I'm going to get flagged. There is going to be a copyright bot somewhere. Well, they're computer generated, but there's going to be a bot. So that's why there really aren't too many actual shots from the video. Anyway, so yes, I seen the movie. Yeah, the audience seemed to love it. I didn't see any of the previews because I got in late, but I did see the very start of the movie. And okay, yeah, I got in late, so but I did see the beginning of the movie, and it allegedly takes place in 1961, and it's about these three math whiz ladies that work for NASA that happen to be African American or black. The movie starts off with them heading out there, and they have car trouble, and the police escorts them in, which is in the trailer. The 2 or 3 moments where they're sassy in it, I know I had said earlier that it didn't make sense for them to be doing that in the 60s, but maybe it kind of did, as it turns out. I read up something about the movie afterward, and then went to see it. I wasn't giving it away, of course. Just came out. So yeah, the sass part of it did seem a little modern, and it might have not happened that way, but it could be that the descendants of these people are remembering it differently than it actually was, or it could be more sassy than it was. But considering how they were more open-minded at NASA than the outside around Langley, Virginia was, they were probably not as held back and therefore not as sassy. But we'll never know, because the whole thing is based on one of their books that was written about them, and it was their opinion. So, all right. It's their opinion. If it happened that way, I don't know. So an earlier questioning the story for being a little too modern is probably an inaccurate assessment based on having now seen it, and so it's fine, I guess. It technically was released somewhere in some theaters before the end of the year. Somewhere it was a limited release along with La La Land in some theaters already before then. So it can get an Oscar nod. Does it deserve Best Picture of the Year? The audience loved it. It's crowd pleasing. It's essentially Oscar people kissing up to the notion that last year they didn't have any movies with African American actors in it, so this year they suddenly do. Is that because the Oscar people decided, oh, we want to look more better, less racially wrong, so we're just gonna pick a movie, offenses as well. I don't know if that's the case or if that isn't. Certainly seems like it. If they give this Best Picture, it is. Yeah. But is it a good movie? I don't know. Jim Parsons. It had Jim Parsons in it. It had Kevin Costner in it, who hasn't been in anything in a while. It had these 3 unknown actresses that I just don't know anything about them. I don't know what they're in. Maybe one of them was in The Walking Dead, maybe, or something. Anyway, so I don't know. But, yeah, I'm not going to bother looking it up. This is just a review. And this is not a professional review channel. This is my opinion as to what went on. So it doesn't matter. So anybody that comments on the channel going, oh, it's weird or odd, and this person's a reviewer, and it's like, no, I'm not a reviewer. I'm not a professional reviewer in any way. Nor is this station a professional thing. Nor is anything that's ever blogged on it professional. Never claims to be. The child star thing was in this area, and it was not Hollywood at all. There was nothing. So never professed to being anything other than that. It's local. Yeah, so, but aren't most blogs like that? When you look at most of the gamer blogs or whatever, they started out not being anybody really famous. So what's wrong with that? There's plenty of people out there that do vlogs. Even famous people do vlogs. So, I mean, even the Kevin Smith channel. He's a famous director. But he doesn't show clips. He just talks. He just goes in there and talks. So, if he can get away with it, I can get away with it. But he's famous. So, anyway, so, sometimes he does in a Smodcast. But anyway, so, Hidden Figures. Is it... I guess it's worth watching in theaters. I mean, it has some exciting scenes in it. Footage from NASA videos and stuff mixed in with it. They showed the actors at the end and what they looked like. If they looked like the actual 3 stars, and they really didn't look anything like the actual women that they were based on. But that's okay. The main one who looked very kind of she looked very African American, very, very sort of, the whole almost stereotypically African, very, very African American. The actress, the actual person, looked a little bit less, a little more Roman looking than the one than the actress. Yeah, so the hair wasn't the same. It wasn't as, they weren't. The lips and the eyes and all that was completely different looking for a woman. So that was not distracting though, because I don't know anything about these people in this story. I didn't notice any anachronisms. I thought it was funny that the IBM computer was gigantic. That was funny. And not working right. That was also funny. These ladies are designed as like engineers. They're supposed to be engineers. And they're working on math programs and math problems at NASA to help the rocket ships go into space and come back. There's a little bit of civil rights elements thrown in there. There's a little bit of there's segregation elements in there. There's a one woman that has to go out to the bathroom that's across the hall campus because there's no black person bathroom. Yeah, they had segregation back then, so they said they couldn't So she had to run back and forth, and it took like 40 minutes, which would have gotten her fired, but it didn't somehow. Um, and then they accommodated her later on. She complained. That seemed a little odd that they would have. I suspect the original story is not so dramatic as them like ripping the sign down and all that. It was probably more like, "Oh, we're sorry that we did this to you. We're just not going to do that. Here, you can use the other bathroom." But you know it's a movie, so let's make it sound really dramatic. Fine. The but maybe they did. Maybe they, you know, I don't know. I wasn't back then. But I'm thinking some '90s stuff was added, like in The Help, where they added some stuff. But still think they did. The directors wanted to make it, you know, appeal to a modern audience. I mean, for it to be really an accurate '60s movie like The Help, it reminded me of The Help. They should have been using the N-word constantly because the bad guys and the good guys used that back then. But yeah, they're not going to do that, of course. That would be bad. You know, they're not bad guys, but like the racist people would use that, and then they would just say it. But no, they didn't want to do that. They wanted to be PC a little bit. In that case, it's not entirely. But was it good or bad? No, it was a good movie. It's fair to watch it. I didn't have any problems with Queen of Katwe, the other movie this year, but I don't think it's being nominated. I liked Straight Outta Compton 2 years ago. You know, I think it was fine, but deserved the Oscar more than the other movie that got the Oscar. But this year, will this movie get the Oscar? I don't know. So yeah, I even liked the Malcolm X movie. So, and the original miniseries Roots was better than the new one. Yeah, I did not see the Birth of a Nation remake. I didn't bother with that. Yeah. So yeah, the movie is about the space race between America and Russia, and you know the space race, and it's the right stuff, but with women in it, and yeah. So okay, it's probably closer to what happened than the Right Stuff movie, in which it was men. Jim Parsons sort of plays a kind of a bigoted character, just like which is kind of interesting. I had thought that Jimmy Galecki, his co-star from Big Bang Theory, was in Trainwreck, but he wasn't. He just was playing like Jimmy Galecki. Jimmy Galecki wasn't in this movie, but it was interesting seeing that. Parsons had been in Home, which I reviewed earlier. He's one of the only stars from that series that broke out into movies. Has been doing some movies. Yeah, Kevin Costner's back. Thankfully, Kevin Costner did not show his naked butt. Thankfully, he decided not to do that. That would have been bad. And there's some of his early movies in the 90s, he was always showing his butt. Thankfully, we did not see that. That would have been scary. You know, and it is curious that one of the ladies gets a hold of a library book, which she snatches from the library, and learns Fortran, and is able to figure out how to make the IBM computer work. That probably didn't exactly happen like that, and she would have had to return the book. Because I would think when you get like a book out of the library, it doesn't necessarily, I don't know, it just didn't make sense. But hey, it's a kind of a crowd-pleasing comedy, so okay. Yeah, I'm going to learn this computer language from one book. That just seemed a little bit odd. She could have gotten other books we just didn't see. The other one could have gotten her degree at some point. We didn't see that. Maybe some exposition would have been nice. Something to indicate, I got some other books that I read about. Helped it out. Became supervisor. It wasn't just that they made her the supervisor. And she was kind of witchy too, but the other lady who was kind of a witch. There's a supervisor lady who's blonde, and she's kind of a witchy kind of character. Well, not really literally, but sort of. And eventually she becomes supervisor and outranks the white lady. I don't know if that actually happened like that, or if it was more like a mutual thing. I don't know. NASA is different from the rest of the world. They're very insular in their environment. They would have to get along, you know, nerds and techie guys, whatever. So, but yes. So yeah, it's a good movie. So go and see it. I don't know if it's Best Picture material. I liked Sully better. I think it's a better movie. I liked Snowden better. It was a better movie. I definitely liked Zootopia better. Better movie. Um, uh, Better than even Finding Dory. So yeah, in Captain America: Civil War, everybody's fawning all over it, and I said basically, well, that movie is yet another Marvel movie pushing the same buttons. So I was not as I mean, it's a great movie, but it's not Best Picture. No, not quite. Deadpool. No, not quite. Well, some of these movies were better for being movies, but you take what you got. Yeah, so yeah, I liked it. It was okay. The audience cheered when all the feminist points were hit. However, in this movie, when they did, those points were in the trailers. So it was like, wait a minute, yeah. Did you know that you saw that in the trailer? The only reason you're cheering is because it's in the 3 trailers they had out. Well, you know, it would have made an interesting TV movie. But yeah, it's all right. Best Picture, it's not. It's close, but not. It's probably hold on. Hidden Figures. Yeah, Hidden Figures is probably the kind of movie that would do well as a rental many times over. You might want to own it just to watch some of the nuances and stuff. But as a memorable, movie that's gonna be Oscared and be remembered as a classic. No, it's not really a classic. It's just sort of there. No, it was all right. It was fine. It was cool. And the Stone Gremlins people already reviewed this movie, and I watched. Did I watch? Yeah, I watched the review. They didn't give away too much. And yeah, it was a fine movie. It pushed the right buttons, I guess. It was nice. But that doesn't mean Best Picture. No. So if it's nominated, it probably will get it if it makes a lot of money. Fences is dark and depressing. I'm not going to see it. Manchester by the Sea, or whatever it is, not going to see it. Also the same. I'm not going to see I'm not going to see Blood Wars. Underworld, even though it's been advertised all over the place. Probably not going to see that one. I haven't seen. Let's see. I saw Underworld 2, Underworld 3. I didn't see 4, and I haven't seen 5. I saw all the Ice Age movies, except maybe maybe I didn't see the last Ice Age movie. Yeah, I didn't see the last one. That was one where they're in space. It was a little weird. Let's see. I have seen all the Resident Evil movies, so when that one comes out, I'll probably see the final Resident Evil movie as well, which isn't gonna be. They're gonna make more of them. They're always gonna get a cliffhanger. The final chapter. They've done the final chapter gag on 2 different horror franchises, Friday the 13th and Halloween. So it's not likely that it ever is the final chapter. So we'll see. I'm not going to see Assassin's Creed. It looks dumb. Yeah. So if there's any other Oscar movies out there, until they announce them in 2 weeks, or less than a week. It's a week now. I probably won't see them. So there you go. There's my sort of review of Hidden Figures and dancing around the movie. as to not reveal too much about it. It's set in the 60s or in the civil rights movement, but it's not really about civil rights. That's kind of secondary. There's a family story going on. One lady meets a new husband. Her old husband died, or her ex, or not ex-husband, or she's a widower. So yeah, with kids. The other one who has the book. She's the one with two boys. That's different. There's a third one. I don't know if you mentioned any kids, but yeah, they're girl empowerment fantasy movie basically, which is fine. Nothing against that. I think women's empowerment should be more. Actually, I think whenever you have like if you have a news pundit boss guy who threatens to fire you if you say anything about it's harassment, you should just quit that job and go somewhere else, or take pictures of that harassing boss guy, and put his ass in jail. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But that didn't happen in this movie. I'm just political rant. Anyway, so yeah, there was sexism harassment, but not sexual. But yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so Hidden Figures. Yeah, go out and see it.